Hi guys and welcome. So continuing on with my nature theme, I've made this beautiful little file folder which we'll be making today. So I've just got it tied with sari silk. Very simple closure. I've got eyelets on the front cover and the back cover, and then I've just threaded that through. So we've got some beautiful skeleton leaves, some Distress Oxide backgrounds, and then we've got some little pockets inside, and then just some little simple journaling cards on both inside pockets. And then we've got 4 coffee stained paper note pages, and I've stenciled them in like a leaf stencil just to carry the theme through. And then the same in the background, in the back pocket rather, sorry about that. And then on the back I've just put book number 985, which is actually a stamp out of a I think it's Global Land stamp set that I got, and I've just put a little bauble on there. But yeah, so we're going to make that today. I've already got the background inked and stamped, so if you don't know how to do that, you'll see that in my previous video. I made a tag and a pocket. So it's just about getting your Distress Oxide down on a craft mat or a glass surface. Just smooch it around, spray some water on it, and then just, you know, dab your paper down and let it dry. And that's sort of what you'll get. And I also put some stamping on the background of the cover as well, which we'll do today. But I'm going to cut this out. Now I'll have the measurements down the bottom, so don't worry too much about stopping the video and trying to record the measurements. I'll put them down the bottom. But we're going to cut one at 8.5 by 7 1/4. And then we're going to score it at 2.5. So I'll just grab my trimmer. So we're going to go 8.5. Just going to double check my measurements. Yep. Because I remember I started, my initial one I started at 9.5, and then I had to cut it down a bit. Never throw those out, they're really handy to have. So 8.5 by 7 1/4. So 7 1/4. So it's not much cut off that. And I'm working from an A4 piece of cardstock. And then we're going to score at 2.5. So turn it on its long side, and we're going to score it at 2.5. So these will form the pockets on the inside, and then we're going to turn it that way, and we're going to score it at 4.5. and 4 1/4, and that'll give you the spine. I always like to put a little bit of a spine. You'll see it gives you 1/4 inch spine. That way it doesn't matter how much stuff you put inside your folder, and you can also add notebooks and extra journaling pages, which I've done. I've only put 4 coffee dyed sheets in there, but you can definitely add more if you want to. So you'll see the double score line down there, and then the score line across there. So that's going to fold up there, and they will be our pockets. But we need to cut a little bit off. So we need to definitely cut down the 2 score lines here. So I'm just cutting right on the fold there. And then I'm just going to take a little bit in from the corner. Just a little triangle shape, not much. And then the same on the other side. Oops, I haven't gone quite to the score there. Same on the other side. But if you fold that out and get it out of your way. See, it's only well, I call it a slither. Just a very tiny little bit. You can do more if you want, but when you fold it up, you don't want too many gaps. And then same over here, just a very slight slither off the side, and then over on this one. So you take more off here than you do, you'll end up right on the mark there. So it's like a little triangle. And then we're going to cut this tail off. There we go, and there forms our pockets. So the reason about cutting a little slither off there is you don't want it coming over that edge, because then it won't fold. I even might take a little bit extra off this one, just to match it up on the other side. There we go, and then that one is just in from the edge and just in from the edge. You can round your corners too, and you can also put a notch in those. If you have a look at mine here, I didn't, I just went simple pockets, but you can definitely put a notch in, which we might do just to show you. Scrub a circle punch. This one I'm using is 1 3/4, but you can use smaller ones or bigger ones if you want to. Sorry if I have to clear my throat every now and then. I do apologize for that. I have a bit of a chest infection at the moment. It just doesn't seem to want to go away, and it results in coughing or feeling like that there's something caught in my throat. Now I'm going to ink those all around the edges, and I'm using walnut stain. It's a Distress Oxide, not a Distress ink. I like the Distress Oxides. They seem to go on softer when you're inking. It might be just a personal preference. Gives you like a watercolor type effect. And as you can see, I'm just doing it very quickly. I try not to spend too much time on the inking, because I think if you spend too much time on it, you get a little bit pedantic, and then it doesn't look natural. And then if you've got some like whiter or lighter, because this is cream cardstock, I just smudge it over and it'll blend it all in together. Now this one was done with speckled egg. Actually, it's not quite marrying up there, so I'm gonna, oh that's right, I did cut a bit off the other one, so I'm just going to hold that in place, and I'm going to cut a slither off there. For some reason that didn't shape up, which means I'll have to then cut a piece off there. All right, lovely. Lovely. Now for the tab, I've actually got a tab punch, so it's an EK Success one, and you don't have to fold your cardstock. It actually cuts the whole piece out, which I'll show you. I've got a piece left over from this morning, so I just got some kind of a background stamp and put on a piece of plain cardstock, and then I've just cut my, actually it might not be enough if I go that way, and then I just cut my tab out with that, and then you just fold it over. It's the most simplest of things. I do have them in my shop too, guys, so if you can't get hold of them, I'll put a link down the bottom to my online craft store. And then we're going to ink ink that around. I do have a few in stock, but it's EK Success, or EK Tools is the name of the punch, or the brand of the punch. And then that one will go just up. I'm going to take it fairly up higher because I'm going to put my eyelet in there for the closure. And you just line the edge up with the top of your tab there, and it leaves a nice little tab out the side, which I will also put an eyelet in that one. Now I'm going to ink the inside before I glue my pockets down. So I'll just give them a quick ink because it's too difficult to do it after. You don't have to ink them, it's just more the places that you're going to see. Lovely. So let's ink, let's glue them down. I had a girlfriend, she was watching one of my YouTube videos, and she said, did you realize that you say inking sometimes when you glue? Or it might have even been the other way around. I said, no, I don't. I didn't realise. It's quite funny when you think of it. And then I just caught myself doing it again. But it is, I don't know whether you've done a video before or you're on YouTube yourself, but it is a little bit harder than you think when you're talking, thinking, doing all at the same time. Some things we take for granted. And it's quite easily to make mistakes. Or, you know, if you're gluing, you're saying you're inking, in this case. All right, lovely. So you got your little tab out the side there. Now I'm going to quickly put the holes in there for the eyelets. And what I use for that is my crocodile. If you don't have one of these guys, it's probably the best tool or craft tool that I've ever invested in. They are a little bit expensive, but look, the amount of times you use it, definitely well worth the outlay. And we may as well do those eyelets while we've got the crocodile out. Now these eyelets that I brought, they're not We Are Memory ones. They're actually from AliExpress, so they are a bit of a tighter fit, but they still work. And you can put a little dangle off that one there. So that's the cover. So let's have a look at decorating the cover. Now I might just add a bit more grunge to that. Before we go, and the back piece that I cut off. Didn't get back to inking that. Okay, so on the front I've used a stamp of a skeleton leaf. So it's a Stampin' Up stamp that I've had in my stash for a number of years. So it still may be available, I'm not quite sure. It's called Loyal Leaves, and it's got this beautiful skeleton leaf and some other leaves in it as well. So what I did this morning, I went through and I pulled out a few of my stamps that I haven't used in a while, and thought I'd have a go. So we want to stamp some leaves out, and I'm going to use two archival inks. One is called Potting Soil, which is a brown, and the other one's called Peat Moss, which is a green. So I'm going to do one of the green, it's just on a scrap bit of cream cardstock. So one of the green, and then two of the brown. You could, of course, rather than stamping and cutting these out, if you use the masking effect, you could stamp them straight on, but then you'd get the background under your leaf and it wouldn't highlight your leaf as much. But if you didn't want to go to all the trouble of cutting these out, then you can definitely stamp them straight on the front. So I'm going fairly close to the line this time. Sometimes I don't worry about it too much, because when we ink it, it will take away those little white lines where we've cut out from the image. But I'm just trying to, on this one, because it's such a fine stamp, just going to go as close as I can. I am using bigger scissors than normal, but they're on my desk. We're making do today. And these are my favorite scissors. I've had these now for probably a year and a half. I do have these in my shop as well. The design of them is very much like the Tim Holtz as far as the big handles. So if you've got a little bit of arthritis like I do, they're very, very comfortable to hold on to. Because I'm not, as you can see, I've just got my fingers through there. I'm not really gripping it like normal scissors, so my fingers don't cramp up as much. And I must say, the amount of cutting I do with these, they have stayed sharp. So I'm very impressed. Lovely, so we just need 3 of those. Keep your scraps. One thing I do too is when I have a stamp set out, I grab my scraps and I stamp extras. So if you've gone to all the trouble of getting your stamps out, why not stamp on your scraps? As you can see, they're scraps and I'm going to cut them down. I'll show you what I mean. And I've just got this lot in a DVD case. So I can just go in and pull one out. So that one's on a bigger bit of cardstock. So you never know sort of what you're going to use, as far as don't cut them down initially until you get to your project, and then you can cut them down. But they're just so handy to have some words or numbers and that already stamped out. It saves you having a million stamps on your desk. And it makes some projects fun. Like if half your work's done, you can just create. And by having a few different things already stamped, you can, throw them on and trial them. You don't have to stamp first and then trial it. I'm just going to take that fluffy edge off the top there, and that's pretty good. So these are from various stamp sets. I'm not 100% on what they did come off. That one there, I do know I bought on, I think it was AliExpress, and I googled word stamps, and they're on a wood mount, and I got denied, banned and rejected, and I'm really happy. They've got the red rubber, so the images stamp really well, but I did buy them individually as well. Now we're going to ink this one up, and we'll ink the leaves while I've got the ink out. Not everybody likes to ink. I do. I think it gives that faded vintage old look. To give you an example, there's uninked and there's inked, so you know, it just adds that little bit extra. Of course, you don't have to blend it right in. You could just go around the edge like that, just to get rid of that white or those cut edges, and even that still looks good like that. But I'm blending it in. I like to highlight the outside edge. There are 3 leaves done. Now we're just going to go around with a black pen. So my sewing machine's buried in a shipping container because we moved here a few months back, and we aren't staying here for a long period of time, so only half our stuff is unpacked, but you'll get the same effect with a black liner. So just to give you a look at the prototype again, I've done a double line, but you can just do one line. You can do your stitches, you can do zigzags, whatever you like. But yeah, use a black pen. Not everybody has a sewing machine, and you'll get a very similar effect. So this one here, I'm using a Unipin Fine Line water and fade proof pigment ink pen, and it's a 0.6 of the width, and it's not overly fine, but it's not thick either. And then I just go down near the edge. Now, you don't have to be too neat. I actually like it when it's a little bit wiggly. This one I might just do one line on. And the other one's got 2 on it. So turn it over. That's on the back, that's on the front. See, so it looks like stitching. So you don't have to go to too much trouble about getting the sewing machine out. And I'll go around the inside pockets as well. One. So see the difference? To me, it just finishes it off. If you don't have one of these pens, then just do it with a black biro. Okay, and I did also go around this sign. So I'll put a border on the sign as well. Now we're going to glue these down. So I'm going to do the two back ones first. Just trying to work out the tops and the bottoms of these. Okay, right, now let's glue them down. So I have them sort of like a fanned effect. Do the two brown ones first because I want the green one to be prominent. It's going at the front, so there'll be a bit of overlay. And the beauty of using the art glitter with the fine metal tip is you can get right to the point of that one so it will sit down. And then I've got band in the top corner. You could put a label up there if you didn't have any wording. Add a little red label. And then this one down the bottom just covers up the stems, because we're featuring the leaves, not the stems, is my way of thinking. Lovely. Now on the inside we also stamped the leaves on the pockets, so you will see there. So I'm going to stamp on here. I'll have a piece of paper just under because we'll be stamping off the page. So we'll do the brown leaves first. So do a brown and a green. Now the brown one pretty well much goes straight up and down. And then the green is the second leaf. Just get the brown off there. I don't want to mix inks if I can get out of it. And that one will just slant a little bit that way. Beautiful. It's just such a gorgeous stamp, that one. And I think you can buy skeleton leaf stamps as well, individually. I'm not sure. I'm gonna track it down to see if I can get another size to go with this one as well. All right, so and then in the middle we've got 4 pages of coffee dyed paper. So what I did with that one, my piece of coffee dye that I had ready. There we go. So A4 bit piece of coffee dye, I just folded it in half, folded it in half again because I didn't measure this. I just held it against my cover. So definitely don't want to cut this fold down here, but we can cut across the top fold. then we cut a bit off the, so we're just eyeballing this. It'll take you a couple of cuts to get it the right size. And I want it in from the cover a little bit as well. And then just a fraction more off the width of it. Lovely, so it's in from the eyelets and there's a bit of a border top and bottom. And then we're just going to stitch it in. So we're just going to use a 3 pamphlet stitch. Now you could, given it's only 2 pages effectively, you could glue it in individually. You could staple it in if you've got a good stapler that will reach, depending on the width of your cover. I'm just going to put the pin in my glue, because we will need that again. And then I just get a bulldog clip and just hold them in place, the same as you're stitching a journal, because effectively it is a mini journal. Just make sure you got it in the center of the spine. And as you can see from the spines, the spine's 1/4 inch, so we could go a lot thicker with this, with pages of coffee dyed paper, or we can really build, like put a lot of stuff in our pockets. So either or, you choose. And then we're going to get an awl, or some people call it a pokey tool, and we're going to put one through the middle, and this is all eyeballing. And then one off to the side, and then similar distance down here, another one through there. I'm using some twine, but you can use wax cotton, string, whatever you like, ribbon, cord. So through the center one, you've probably seen this method a million times, up through the top one, back through the center one. It's probably the worst cord to work with, this. It's all different widths and then we go up through the bottom one. Get a nice tension on it, and then we tie it in a knot. And then I just cut the ends off. Take your clips off. Beautiful. And then what I do, just so it sits down nice and flat, I put it down like that. I just run my finger up there, I turn the page over and give the second page the same creasing, and then I do the same at the back. That way it's folded, and it'll give it like a bit of a memory. So when you go to journal in it, it'll lay flat like that, or it'll lay flat like that. So it's just a little tip. So we'll do some inking on that one in a minute. And I'm just going to pop it to the side, and I want to make the little inside journaling cards. So I'm going to cut those, and they're 4 by 6 and then scored at 3. So, and we've got 2 of them. So 4 inches by 6 inches. and then score them at 3 inches, which is halfway. If you don't have a scorer, you can just fold them over. They're exactly half. I've got a scorer on my trimmer, but I also do have a scoreboard. I'm limited for room here at the moment, so I haven't got everything out. I'm just making do. And then you'll end up with 2 little note cards like this. Give them a bit of a flatten down. Just looking for my bone folder. Here it is. You could use the edge of a pen, a butter knife, just something to give it just that little bit more crisp of an image. Now we're going to stamp these. So I'm going to stamp them with the brown stamp, and I'm going to put them in the middle. So remembering where your bottom is. My stamp blocks is a little bit magnified. It was throwing me off a little bit then. Now I want to do a script background, but I don't want to stamp over the leaf. So what we do is I cut out a leaf, I stamped it and I cut it out, and it's called a mask. So we can sit that on there, and then we can stamp over the top, and it will only stamp the background, it won't stamp the image. And then when we take it off, we will have our leaf image as it is still under there. So I've got this background script stamp. It's a Wendy Vecchi one, which is Studio 490. I think she has a partnership also with Stampers Anonymous. And I'm doing it with the brown. And I'm just going to half because the stamp's not big enough to do the whole notebook in one go. And if you take your leaf off, ta-da, easy as. Because I've already done that mask, I will keep it now in the stamp set as well, so I don't have to recreate it every time I get the stamp set out if I want a mask of that leaf. Just saves you time down the track. We'll ink that in a minute. Let's do the second one. I could have done the second one in green, but I just chose to do it all in brown. Keep those neutral tones flowing through. Lovely. Now I'm going to distress the edge both inside and out, because inside is where we will have our journaling. Now if you want that stamp there to pop even more, ink out from the stamp, so darken the background like that. Like that, and it just makes it pop. Just makes it pop, and it actually looks like it's stuck on. You can of course stamp it, cut it out and stick it on, and you can stick it straight over a fully stamped background if you want to, but this way it gives it a 3D effect, but it's all smooth, so it's not adding any bulk to your journal. And then you've got all this beautiful journaling space inside these cards, as well as your coffee dye pages. That's that one done. And we've got the second one. You could leave it like that, so that's the difference. So they both look really good. And all these different techniques and effects can be applied to anything. Like, you know, you might not have these stamps, so get a stamp that you do have. It might be a butterfly, a flower, a leaf, you know, you might be die cuts or something like that that you can play with. But it's just about, you know, sharing and learning all different techniques and applying it to whatever project that you're doing. And everyone has their own certain style too, so it's great to have a play with the technique and see, you know, add your little bit of flair to it, see how it comes out. This cream cardstock, I was saying in a video before, I've searched high and low to get, you know, a really nice cream that's not yellow, and this one is just perfect. I do have them in my shop. It's a cream smooth cardstock. It stamps really well, it takes ink really well. I use it in every project basically. So that's the two notebooks. I've done them inside and out. I might add a little bit of stenciling to them. Just quickly, I've got this leaf vein stencil, so I'm going to be doing a little bit on the pages, the coffee dye pages, just to carry the botanical theme straight through. If you haven't got one of these makeup brushes, they are a game changer when inking. So quick. You don't have to do it that heavy. I'll do this one a little bit lighter. So it just gives it some texture because we're going to be journaling on those. All right, lovely. Let's just do a little bit on our pages, and it just ties the whole project together. You don't have to do it on the whole page. You can just do it down in a corner, up the side. I do a lot of stenciling through my journal. It just, it can make a really plain page pop. and still, you know, be faint enough to be a decoration, but to still journal over the top. I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't coughed yet. Hopefully, I mean, I don't really notice sometimes, but hopefully I haven't been clearing my throat, which is quite annoying listening to somebody who has to clear their throat all the time, but unavoidable when you're talking for a long period of time. Just throw a little bit on the covers there as well. They're looking a bit plainish. I don't even know what brand this one is. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I have it on there, but no, but it's like a leaf vein. Beautiful. So we're just going to pop our journaling cards in the pockets. And then we might stamp something there. I've still got them on the stamp blocks, so we'll go this one. This one says, "You are strong, you are loyal, you are true," and it was out of one of the Stamping Up stamp sets that I'm using today. I don't think it was in this leaf one. And then the other one at the back says, "You are inspirational." So they're just nice little soft sentiments. You could put a label there. You could, you know, put a number. And on the back, I did have a number stamp I had out just because it's like a little journaling book, which was a book number when I find it. No, not sure, but I will show you. It just says book number 985, and I got it out of I think it was a Global Land set. Actually, I've got it here beside me. So this, it's quite a big set, but it's that one up there. So I think I got that through Amazon as well, guys. And just, you know, search by either vintage stamps or word stamps or postal stamps, I think was what I Googled. Oh, there it is. And thank you all, guys, for the beautiful comments that you've been leaving on my videos. I really appreciate all the feedback and comments. It you know, it really makes it worthwhile. Now I've got a bit of a beading background, so I've got these little beaded trinkets, but you can just put a charm on there if you want. You could make your own little tab with a number on it. Just going to attach it to the tab there. So we've got a little trinket off the back there. You could even tie it to the string on the spine. And then to tie it off, we just got a little bit of sari silk, which is, you know, just a short piece like that. Gone through both the eyelets. If you didn't put the eyelets in, you could definitely just wrap it around and tie it. I just like the look of metal, and I like the idea of being able to tie it on the side and not cover up those beautiful leaves that we've done on the front. it's not real slippery, this sari silk. It's sticking to my fingers. I'll just do it with the one bow. So there we go, guys. Beautiful little file folder to make using your inks. So get your inks out. You know, if you're anything like me, I haven't used mine in a while, and it's just so rewarding to get them out, have a play. Use your stamps. So dive into your stamp sets and have a look to see if you've got a nice image. So whether it's a leaf, a fern, a dragonfly, a butterfly, flower, and you know, stamp multiple images, cut them out, you know, stamp out some numbers or words, and create these beautiful little journaling file folders. So you've got plenty of journaling space. You've got 8 surfaces with 4 pages, and then you've got the 2 little journaling cards. But you could definitely put with that 1/4 inch spine, as you can see. So if we close it up, it's nowhere near the thickness. We could, you know, double that, or we could, you know, put more notepads into our pockets there. But have a go at these, guys. They are super fun and very, very useful. You can tuck them inside your journals. That itself could be on the front of a cover, so you could glue down the back, and you could have that on the front of one of your journals as well. So think outside the square with that. But thanks for joining me today, guys. Really enjoyed our time together. I hope you got something out of this, whether it's just a technique or an idea. I will put the measurements down the bottom for you to have a go at it. But thanks, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.